Alongside me, of course, I have Justin Hebert and Austin LaPlante, as per usual. But we have two guests here who have showed up at this podcast before on the very first episode. Hunter Sleppy, aka Designed to Hunter 88, famous NASCAR YouTuber known for NASCAR reactions. Go check out his channel at DDH88. He'll be on with us shortly. And short track driver from Iowa, Devin Coughlin. Devin was on with us on episode 50 back in March, and he was just in a race. We just saw a race last night. Very eventful. The Coca-Cola 600, and Brad Keselowski scored the win. It was his 31st career victory in the Cup Series, first at the 600 after leading 21 laps. But second place driver, originally Jimmy Johnson, was disqualified. We'll get into Johnson, but he led 6 laps and started second. There is an appeal going on. If you're not aware, Jimmy Johnson, second place finish, has been excluded from the results due to an infraction during post-race inspection. There's Justin.
Computer, I don't know. Computer does not want to cooperate.
That's why we're live.
It's called technology.
Yep.
Chase Elliott, who led 38 laps. We're going to get into Alan Gustafson and the mistake that was made by the Hendrick crew in just a little bit. He scored second at the moment. Of course, there's an appeal going on with Hendrick Motorsports and the 48 team. But originally, here are the top 10. Ryan Blaney, 4th. Kyle Busch, 5th. Kevin Harvick. Martin Truex Jr., who led 87 laps, made a mistake, according to a lot of Truex Jr. fans, that he should have stayed out, should have pitted. He went with Elliott. Kurt Busch, who led 54 laps from the pole. Tyler Reddick, a great top 10 finish for him, 8th or 9th, depending on what the outcome is. And Christopher Bell, regardless, his best career finish of 10th or 9th. Let's go down to the results. Joey Logano won stage 3. If you're not aware, the Coca-Cola 600 has 4 stages.
Yeah.
Logano led 26 laps from 7th off the grid. Matt DiBenedetto led 6 laps, finished 18th. He started 33rd in the back. Alex Bowman had a great points day. Unfortunately, he finished 20th. Stage 1 and stage 2 had 164 laps.
He finished 19th. Because
Byron.
Byron got 20th.
Right. Now, let's get into the race here. That lasted more than 4 hours.
Yeah.
7 minutes.
Yeah, that race was long compared to usual, but it's because that there was the 1 hour delay due to rain. Yep. Plus, there was that overtime finish because of William Byron with 3 laps to go spinning after a cut left rear tire, which is unfortunate for William Byron. After getting cut tire, running in the top 5, was 5th, and he spun when he was in 7th place. So that really sucked for the 24 team.
Yeah, and William Byron, of course, ran in the top 10 pretty much the entire day, and he did finish 20th. But let's go to his teammate here, Chase Elliott, for a second.
Ooh.
What went wrong with the call?
I think, the thing about it, what happened. It's the same thing with Greg Ives and Todd Gordon at Las Vegas. They made Bowman and Blaney pit, and that's how Logano ended up winning. But there, I don't even know. They thought, everybody's going to follow them pit road because tires matter. Nope, you see Brad Keselowski, Jimmy Johnson, Alex Bowman, Blaney, and others stay out, and other people pitting. I don't know what Gustafson was thinking. He maybe thought that he was pitting.
That the guys behind him would pit with him.
But, when you're the leader, you're a sitting duck, basically. That's the thing. You don't know if they're going to pit or not. It's kind of hard to know if they're pitting.
All right. And I think, as for Keselowski, he's in a contract year. And I want to hear your opinion on where Brad Keselowski in 2021.
That's
What does this mean? What does this win mean for Brad Keselowski?
I think that for Brad Keselowski winning, it's a good boost of confidence for 2020. Like it helps him. Like he knows that he has a win. He has momentum, which really helps. Like 2018, he didn't even win a race until Darlington. Then he won 3 in a row in 2018. Which you never like. When you get a win, you get a boost of momentum, which helps you for the next couple weeks, which really is a good thing.
Yeah, it is. But I want to ask some of the rest of you guys here what the possibility of Brad Keselowski and Rick Hendrick is for 2021, because people are saying that he's going to drive the 48 car next year. He's a possibility.
I don't even know.
Nah, I see Penske re-signing him to at least another couple-year contract.
Yeah, that's the only.
I see that happening.
Yeah, but
I see him going to the 48 mainly because they have Ally as a sponsor locked down for another couple years or so. So sponsorship won't be an issue for Keselowski, rather for Hendrick rather than Penske, because Miller Lite's on a 1-year deal, not 1-year deal, 1 race deal. They only have 1 race. And then there's just a whole bunch of different sponsors with Keselowski, and then there could be the push to get a younger face in the car, such as Austin Cindric. So him going to the 48 is my likely choice for Keselowski in 2021.
And speaking of that 48, we're going to get into your comment there, GRID or Grid, Global Racing Index Database. Subscribe to him. Great content. He posts every day. But Jimmy Johnson, we were just talking about that 48 car and who's going to, unfortunately, he finished the race physically in second. But in tech, he got axed, excluded from the results due to an infraction. And so that put him all the way to 40th, last in the results. The 4-time winner of the Coca-Cola 600 also got dropped from 10th to 15th in the championship.
Yep.
Was it meant to be last night?
I think personally, like, just that's the rules, you know?
Yeah, like they're trying to appeal, but remember what happened? Nice tried to do that with Ross Chestnut in Iowa. That did not work. NASCAR said no. You're keeping your last place.
Where is the line crossed?
Like they know
okay and illegal.
But they noticed something in the rear of the car was not the same as the other competitors. Like when something is not the same, well, that's obviously when something's not the same. That's like you see a normal back under. Like if you know it's Jimmy Johnson under the rear of the car looks different than Brad Keselowski and the others. Well, that's obviously not the right thing. So that's penalty. So basically, you have to see something that's not right. If you know something different, well, you check the rules and then you look. You expect every car to see if it's the same. If it's not, well,
nothing's perfect.
Yeah.
All right, so let me go back to the Grid's comment here. So clean air and having the lead was a major factor. Had Chase stayed out, I think more would have pitted and went since Chase was on really old tires. That is true. Now let's go back to that restart where Chase Elliott took the lead. He only led those 38 laps before the caution came out that cost him the win.
Yep. Yeah, he did.
I don't really think that would have been the case. If more people stayed out, they would have had a better shot being Chase Elliott. And here's why. Because earlier in the race, Bowman stayed out or he took 2 tires or he did a different strategy compared to everyone else. And okay, so I do remember it was 2 tires.
Yeah.
And it really didn't make a difference because clean air was key last night. And he just drove away from the field and ended up winning the stage from it. So, and I said in my video, he should have stayed out because clean air was key. As soon as the leader got clear of the car next to him, he was gone.
Yeah, that's the thing about it. And also, people were saying about how did Bowman lose the lead to Martrix Jr. during the third stage? You know that courting they called it? Remember what happened to Ryan Blaney late at the race at Auto Club? The courting issue? Like you burn up the right rear? That's what happened.
Yeah,
And
Austin, you were about to say something there.
No, I was agreeing with Justin right there.
Oh, okay.
And Hunter as well.
Food time.
Yeah, I guess Hunter's going to step up for a little bit.
Yeah.
So here's what the championship looks like now. After inspection, obviously this is pending review. Kevin Harvick is in the lead of the championship after 7 races with 291 points over Joey Logano.
By 23.
Happy late birthday to him.
Yep.
He's actually tied with Alex Bowman for second and third.
They're not tied.
Fourth place.
They're not tied.
Yeah, they're 268 points.
No, Bowman's at 266. According to NASCAR.
Maybe I'm looking at something different. Well, it changed because of Jimmy Johnson.
But Bowman has 266 points. Joey has 268. So Bowman's third, 25 behind. Wait, let me.
All right. How'd you know that? 266. My bad.
Yeah,
and then Chase Elliott's in fourth, minus 50.
Yep.
Brad Keselowski, Martin Truex Jr. are tied, minus 56 apiece. Ryan Blaney, Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch. Blaney's seventh, minus 79. Hamlin and Busch are tied for eighth. We'll get into what happened at Darlington in a little bit.
And Almirola.
Matt DiBenedetto, Almirola and Matt DiBenedetto, 10th and 11th. So we also had another race, and since the last time we got on air, and that, of course, was the Darlington 500. 500 kilometers. It was the 6th race of the season.
Rain shortened race.
It was rain shortened, yes.
Yep. End on lap 208 of 228.
So Denny Hamlin scored his second win of the season, 39th career win over Kyle Busch, who started 26th. Remember, they inverted the field from last Sunday's race at Darlington.
Yeah.
Kevin Harvick finished third after leading 10 laps. Brad Keselowski led 71 laps to finish fourth. Eric Jones, who won the Southern 500 last year, led 27 laps from starting 13th. Logano led 19 laps, finished sixth. Eric Almirola, Jimmy Johnson, 7th and 8th. Matt DiBenedetto, 9th. And Martin Truex Jr., who started 15th and led 16 laps, finished in 10th.
Yeah.
I'm going to listen to the notables. Christopher Bell, Ryan Newman. Bell finished 11th, Newman 14th, Bubba Wallace 16th, Ty Dillon in the Hump Day scheme from Geico because they raced on Wednesday.
Yeah.
I love that commercial.
That was the best paint scheme from that race.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ty Dillon started second, finished 19th, led 8 laps. Clint Boyer, who took the biggest hit for anyone outside the top 20, led stage 1, stage 2, led 71 laps and started fourth. He had a spin.
Yeah, late in the race.
Daniel Suarez 27th, Matt Kenseth 30th after starting 11th. Brendan Poole, he led a lap, retired out of the race. Chase Elliott led 20 laps to finish 38th after the contact with Kyle Busch. He finished 38th. And Ryan Preece, the pole sitter, finished last. Retired out of the race.
Yep, on lap 69 of all numbers, and it was an engine failure. But he had this. That really sucked for him. He started on the pole, ended up finishing last with a blown engine.
Let me go ahead and talk about the real case of Wednesday night. I don't think I have to go any further to explain what happened. It was between Chase Elliott and Kyle Busch, the contact.
Yeah.
That brought out the caution, and then, of course, rain settled the race for Denny Hamlin, who was on older tires. But Kyle Busch and Chase Elliott made contact on the front stretch, taking the 9 car into the inside, safer barrier, and out of the race.
Yeah.
Elliott originally showed his
That was
frustration.
no mistake.
But then the two made amends, and you can clearly tell, especially after last night, when Busch was the first driver to console Chase Elliott.
Yeah, like
after
that.
losing the race.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fine acting right there. I don't believe crap. Sorry.
But the thing about it, like, there are some things that people think that Chase has always raced clean? No. Ty Dillon 2013 dumping him for the win at Canadian Tire, which and people said that's Photoshop. I'm like, no, it was on the broadcast on FS1.
Here's the point. Kyle Busch made a mistake. It could have been avoidable, and it took Chase Elliott out of the race. Kyle Busch owned up to it, and Alan Gustafson, I think, did a lot of speaking for Elliott on his behalf. As far as I'm concerned, Kyle Busch and Alan Gustafson, they go back a decade and a half ago, working together. Rick Hendrick in that 5 car before Kyle Busch took off to Joe Gibbs Racing in 2008.
I'd say what bothers me...
Yeah, go on.
What bothers me about that wreck is Busch should have known he wasn't going to clear Elliott when he went to move up. So, because from a driver's point of view, because I drive, I know if when there's a gap that I can make and a gap that I can't make. Because I run without mirrors, so I have to go based off of visual, and I have to go based off of, what I hear. So at that point, when you look up, because he had a mirror, you look up and you see him moving, the next move you should make before you start moving up is you need to make sure you're clear of that car that's to your outside in front of you before you move up.
All right, so I think that's just a racing deal, but one driver paid the price for it. Okay, we have breaking news. Actually, if you remember the Coca-Cola 600, before the green flag came out for the initial start, Denny Hamlin had a problem with his car. Apparently,
the ballast.
Ballast came off.
His ballast broke off.
Yeah.
And now crew members for the 11.
Yeah, I see the name.
Suspended.
It's
4 races.
Yeah, so Chris Gabehart, the crew chief, car chief Brandon Griffith, and engineer Scott Simmons. 4 races. So I don't know who. So I don't know who's going to be the crew chief for that 11 car on Wednesday. They'll have to find a crew chief. Maybe they'll use the 54 crew chief for the Xfinity series. Maybe, I don't know.
Well, no talk
What if it's Joe Gibbs?
Hub in about an hour and a half.
I have a feeling we'll see one of those Xfinity crew chiefs come up.
Yeah, like
Jason Radcliffe,
or
very skilled.
but he's the crew chief for Christopher Bell in the '95 team. Joseph.
I forgot that he switched.
Yeah, you have Ben Beshore, the crew chief of the 20.
I was thinking him.
Dave Rogers, crew chief for Riley Herbst. Jeff Mindering, the crew chief of the 19 of Brandon Jones. And you also have the 54 crew chief. I got his name in here. I just got to remember his name. The 54 crew chief is, let me go read the name.
Yeah,
Jacob Cantor. Which Jacob Cantor was actually, remember what happened with Kyle Busch at Dover in 2017, where Kyle Busch crew members got suspended? Jacob Cantor was the crew chief of that 18 car for those couple weeks. So yeah, so one thing saying Gibbs crew chiefs will most likely be in that position of being like Dave Rogers. He knows Denny Hamlin. In 2015, that was actually Hamlin's crew chief 2015. But then he moved to Carl Edwards 2016, and he would have been Suarez's crew chief for the full season in 2017, but he just left. I don't know why.
I think they brought up his Xfinity crew chief.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and shift gears into the NASCAR Xfinity Series for their first race in 2 months, that being the Darlington 200, which was supposed to be last Tuesday, but due to rain,
they pushed it to Thursday.
Thursday afternoon. Chase Briscoe, who
98,
had suffered an emotional loss with miscarriage, unfortunately.
Yeah.
His wife suffered a miscarriage And 2 days later, he persevered through by beating the best, leading 45 laps. Started at 11th, and his fourth career win was one of the most passionate drives that I've seen in stock car racing in a long time. He beat Kyle Busch, the Stage 2 winner, who led 45 laps, and Busch started 26th. Remember, they drew for qualifying.
Yeah. So yeah, that's why he started. That's why he started back there. Like it's the same thing as the Cup rules. Like between like positions 1 to 12, and understands basically that. Like positions between these two, like Chad Fincham's in the top 24 in owner points. That's how he's starting 13th tonight, which I don't know. That's weird. So yeah, that's how Kyle Busch started 26th.
Exactly.
And remember at the end, Joseph, he got a penalty. Remember? After stage 2, he got the speeding penalty.
Yeah.
And
somehow came back.
Yeah, came back.
Yeah.
Justin Allgaier finished third. He led 9 laps.
Isn't Kyle Busch racing tonight?
Yes, he
Yeah,
is.
We'll get into race previews pretty soon here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Austin
Let's not go
Cindric,
that far ahead.
Austin Cindric fourth. Noah Gragson, Stage 1 winner, who led the most laps at 46,
Yeah.
finished fifth. He drew for pole. Daniel
Yeah.
Hemrick, Gragson's teammate, 6th. Ryan Sieg, who started 4th, got a nice 7th place finish. Ross Chastain led 1 lap, finished 8th. Harrison Burton, who came as the points leader, will not be leading the points heading into tonight's Xfinity race, but he
Nope.
did finish 9th. And Justin Haley, 10th,
Yep.
after starting 13th. And the standings going into tonight's race for the NASCAR Xfinity Series look like this. Chase Briscoe, 223 over Harrison Burton, who lost the points lead. He has 2 of 4 points. And then looking down the list, Austin Cindric, Noah Gragson, Ross Chastain, Justin Allgaier, Ryan Sieg, Justin Haley, Brandon Jones, and Michael Annett. Let's talk about that last lap.
Ooh. That was interesting.
Darlington 400 all over again.
That was interesting. Like Kyle Busch took the lead, and then Briscoe. Remember, Briscoe had the left rear rub. Remember, Briscoe had a rub. I'm like, oh, no, I don't want it to cut. And
Everybody thought
I'm like,
it was going down.
yeah, because you saw how much it was rubbing on the tire, and he still made it home to win. And people were happy. I was happy for Chase Briscoe in that 98 car.
You know, especially going through something that sad, and then just 2 days later, driving his heart out. That was a very passionate drive by Chase Briscoe, and he's a very talented driver. I think there's a lot of people who undermine Chase Briscoe and say, "Oh, their driver's better than him," but you know what? Don't look away from that 98.
Yeah, like Chase Briscoe.
Got great skill. Sorry to interrupt you, Justin, but he's shown some great skills on road courses and dirt tracks.
Yeah.
Which is a great combo.
There was just an update for the Hamlin situation. So according to Bob Pockrass, the race engineer, Sam McCauley, will be the crew chief, and Eric Phillips will be the car chief for the 11 car now.
Okay. Yep.
Who doesn't love Bob?
All right, so let's talk about what is coming up this week.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, we hear the Hamlin situation. So, yes, he's still looking for that first championship in his 15th year trying. He's got 3 Daytona 500s in the bag.
I thought you were going to say 5.
Just 39 career wins, but still looking for that first title. Now he's facing, Danny Hamlin's facing his first slump, possibly.
Yeah.
First
obstacle. Yeah, like having a replacement crew chief is sometimes hard to learn the crew chief. Like I've seen drivers, like there's some teams, like the worst teams to have these, like the worst team. Do you want to know what happens with small teams? Do you think there's only one crew chief per car? No. Sometimes Rick Ware, I guess, changes their crew chief sometimes 3 to 4 times a year. During the race, they have a crew chief in for like 5 races. Oh, another one for 10, and like they switch their crew chiefs around, which That is like I remember it happened. Remember Michael
Talk
Waltrip?
about chemistry. Think
Like-
about the chemistry here.
Remember Michael Waltrip Racing in 2015? Remember Billy Scott was the crew chief of the 55? He moved to the 15 at Clint Borer, and David Reagan drove the 55. Brian Patty moved to the 55. Like, they did stuff like that.
Right. But it seemed like Chris Gabehart and Denny Hamlin have really good chemistry going on.
Yeah.
But now Hamlin's going to have to do the work with someone else for the next 10 races. All right. So here are the races.
10 races.
That's only 4.
Oh,
Four races, Joe.
My bad.
It says through June 10th.
Oh,
I was going to say 10
through June
races. Okay.
you could tell I went to bed around 4 in the morning.
I can tell you.
NASCAR Cup Series this week we'll have the Charlotte 500 and the Food City 500 at Bristol, rounds 8 and 9 of 32 races. Obviously, we don't know the number of races total this year, but it's at 32. Xfinity Series has the Charlotte 300 and the Bristol 300. So the Charlotte 300 is tonight. The Bristol 300 is on Saturday
afternoon.
rounds 6 and 7. And
I like how they do it. Like
the Truck Series returns for the first time since February for the third race of the season.
Vegas.
Yep.
Yeah, the Charlotte 200 is tomorrow night for
Yeah.
round 3 of currently 16 races. Obviously, there's a lot of events to be confirmed or removed.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Charlotte 500K is an inaugural race. If you want to revert to the last time that we've had a race on the Charlotte Speedway other than the Roval and the Coke 600, that was won by Martin Truex Jr. in 2017, who would go on to win that championship driving for Barney Visser. That was a 500-mile race. This is 500 kilometers.
So usually the 500-mile race was only 334 laps. Because it's 200, it's actually 310 miles, 208 laps. It is 20 laps shorter than Darlington. And
Because that was only 1.366 miles long.
this is 1.5, so you have you don't want to be in the back. You don't want to stay in the back the whole race because you trying to get to the front of the field. You saw what happened with trying to get to the front easily. It takes some time for some drivers to get through the field. So yeah, you have to also manage your car. Don't push it too hard because remember yesterday, early in the race, Jimmy Johnson pushed a little bit too hard, and he ended up getting sideways before the rain started.
Yeah.
So, you don't want to make a mistake early and push up the track and make a mistake. You don't want that to happen.
So let's get into race predictions now for the Cup race on Wednesday. Let's hear everyone. I'm going to start off with my pick for the Cup Series race on Wednesday at Charlotte. And he came close to winning Sunday. He's going to redeem on Wednesday. That's the number 9 Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet of Chase Elliott. Will deliver the Little Caesars livery. I don't know if he's running that on Wednesday, but he'll deliver to Victory Lane. I try to make that funny.
Oh,
It was actually. Oh no, I'm gonna have to go with either Alex Bowman or Jimmy Johnson.
huh. I got my pick. My pick, this driver, he should have had a shot to win. He's good on the mile and a halves. He led the most laps yesterday with 164. Alex Bowman is going to win at Charlotte.
Are you sure not just because you're a fan of them all?
That's favoritism.
No,
Yeah.
it's just like the mile and a halves. Other than that, at the other tracks that he's bad at, I pick other drivers. It's
All
just
right.
like
Rest of you, let's hear your predictions.
I'm probably gonna go with Alex Bowman too. He had a pretty good car. He had a great car in Darlington, both the Darlington races, and he carried over to Charlotte. So he might be him and his team might be building on something for the rest of the season. So look out for him.
You know what? I'm just gonna finish it off with another Hendrick driver. You know I am. But you know when I'm gonna pick Jimmy Johnson. That's all.
Okay.
Just
Shown
because.
speed.
Yeah.
Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah, he does show speed. He was up front.
And that's all pending on post race inspection too.
No.
Well, that's for everyone. Okay, so there's that. Now let's get into the
I
other
don't know
race.
how you can get through pre-race inspection but can't pass post-race.
Well,
That's a very good question.
I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
what's it called? Cliff Daniels, the crew chief, said that something must have broken underneath the parts that were in question.
Yeah.
Like I said before, they are currently in the process of appealing.
Yep.
So just stay tuned for updates on that. Now let's get into the other Cup Series race that will be on this week. Obviously, it's Sunday for the Food City 500 in Bristol. Let's talk about some of the facts of the Bristol 500, round 9. Last year's winners, of course, Kyle Busch in the spring, Denny Hamlin in the summer.
Oh, God.
Same length, so I included all of them. First race was won by 2 drivers, Jack Smith and relief driver Johnny Allen in 1961. Darrell Waltrip by far holds for the most victories at this track with 12 wins. He owned that track going into the early 80s. Dale Earnhardt and Rusty Wallace, as well as Cale Yarborough, have 9 victories amongst the 3 of them. Kyle Busch, the highest active driver with 8 victories, and just beneath him is his brother Kurt Busch, who found his first ever win in the Cup Series back in 2002. He has 6 total. Jeff Gordon, David Pearson with 5 each. Bobby Allison, Carl Edwards, and Matt Kenseth have 4 wins. And Fred Lorenzen and Richard Petty have 3 wins apiece. Surprisingly, Richard Petty, even though he may make the Cup Series look super easy back in his day, only 3 wins at Bristol.
But
Denny Hamlin, Kevin Harvick, Jimmy Johnson, Brad Keselowski, Alan Kulwicki, Terry Labonte, Joey Logano, and Mark Martin all share 2 victories, respectively.
Joseph, you're saying about Richard only has 3 wins at Bristol. Well, he has 15 at Martinsville, so nobody's going to be 15 at Martinsville anytime soon.
No, but Martinsville was out there longer than Bristol was, and you got to remember the length of and the amount of races per season. Most team victories for the Food City 500 is Hendrick Motorsports with 8, Junior Johnson and Associates 7, Team Penske and Joe Gibbs Racing, 2 active teams, have 6 wins. Holman Moody and Richard Childress Racing with 5. Roush Furman Racing has 4 victories at the Food City 500, and Richard Howard has 3. Petty Enterprises, Rod Osterlund, and Blue Max Racing have 2 victories in the Food City 500. And as for makes, for manufacturers, 23 for Chevy, over 17 for in the spring race.
It's really obvious.
With 6, Pontiac and Dodge with 5, Buick with 2, and 1 for Plymouth. So there are your facts.
I knew Chevy was every track. Like most make ones, I'm always like Chevrolet. It's always Chevrolet. Yeah, Chevy's been in the sport for a long time. And no, it's not a Chevron. No, it's not a Chevron. It's a Chevrolet.
If you watch Kamikaze Games, that one conspiracy video he reviewed on back in 2016.
Yeah.
Go ahead and look at that. That's your business. So Bristol, of course, is a short track. It's going to be the first short track race of the year.
500 laps. 500 laps, and also, by the way, 500 laps, and that small spoiler with the more horsepower package this time for Bristol.
Yep, Danny's in here. How's it going? How's it going, Danny?
I am having a very bad day.
Oh, that's.
I am in no mood. This today is one of the worst days that I've had in a long time.
I'm not raging about Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah, if you're not a loyal viewer of this podcast, he is a Jimmy Johnson fan.
Yeah.
And we always impersonate Stephen A. Smith during our off time. So, yeah, there's that.
Man, if it was a win and we got disqualified, that would hurt even more.
Yeah. He would still keep
it just stings, man. Right? It stings. It really does sting.
Yeah, and so we were talking about Bristol. Bristol,
Bristol.
the first short track race of the season.
Yeah.
Amongst the drivers, who has the highest chance to
Uh,
win victory lane on Sunday?
oh my. Who?
Matt
Oh my God.
Benedetto.
Yes. Yes.
I like
Should've
that.
won in
The
December
Benedetto
last
for
year.
sure.
Should've won in
Matty
December.
D.
Remember what happened the last time we came to Bristol?
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Person with no neck ruined it.
two,
I'm just gonna
Almost
go.
lost it earlier.
I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Kyle Busch.
He's
That's
coming
That
with
was my pick.
revenge.
8 wins here. He's most comfortable at Bristol. I'm going with an 18.
My pick, this driver, he's won here in the Xfinity Series before. He has a pole here a couple of years ago in his rookie season. He drives car number 20. Eric Jones wins at Bristol.
I'm gonna have to go with the 18, man. The 18 has just been dominant, and whenever it comes to Bristol,
Here it
Kyle Busch
comes.
is the guy to get it done.
Nah, I think
But
Matt
don't away from his
Benedetto
brother
wins.
Like the thing about De Benedetto, Wood Brothers, I don't know. The cars are weird.
Look what he did in the
Sometimes-
95 car.
They did.
Yeah, but
He did an amazing job.
but
when
the
he was with
21
Lifetime
car.
Family Racing.
True.
Yeah.
I think De Benedetto is
Yeah.
the guy you got to look for.
Yeah.
Because
But-
Come on, Levine Family Racing wasn't that good. He almost put it in victory lane.
Yeah,
Let's
but the
go-
21. We're talking about Wood Brothers. They had
Let's-
Paul Menard last year that
let's
didn't do
rewind.
anything.
let's rewind the clock 4 years ago in 2016. He drove for
Oh,
BK
yeah.
Racing. We're talking bottom of the barrel here. Like,
Oh,
Getting
yeah.
higher than 30th is like almost a guarantee that it will never happen if you drive one of those cars. And he managed to finish 6th driving for BK Racing in 2016.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, which
He
was
gets
a good
rid
thing.
that took everyone by surprise. I think that's finally people started to take Matt Benedetto more seriously as a talented race car driver.
And like the thing about saying about De Benedetto, the thing about the 21, it's like their speed's good, but some races they're slow. Like last year, Paul Menard he did decent but not good. He was not like winning every race. No, Paul Menard was sometimes running 20th,
I think Menard
sometimes worse than
Benedetto,
Corley.
that's like night and day here. But we'll have to see. Green
But,
flag
like,
will drop on Sunday.
Yeah, we'll just see how fast that 21 is. If they're slow, well, I don't know.
I think they'll keep up. Okay, let's go
We'll
on
see.
to the NASCAR Xfinity Series. They have 2 races, one including tonight at
Yeah.
Charlotte for their
Yep.
6th race of the season, and then their 7th race will be at Bristol on Saturday.
Yep.
We'll start with the Charlotte 300. So the spring race.
Yeah.
Last year was won by Tyler Eck. The
Already.
first race was actually before the incorporation of the Busch Series. In 1978, Morgan Shepherd took the win. So most victories for the Charlotte 300, Kyle Busch with 5.
Oh,
Mark
my
Martin
God.
with 3, and then all these drivers have 2 victories. Morgan Shepherd, Harry Gant, Dale Earnhardt, Tim Richmond, Dale Jarrett, Jeff Green, Matt Kenseth, and Brad Keselowski. Most team victories, Roush Fenway Racing with 6, Hendrick Motorsports with 4, Joe Gibbs Racing and Team Penske active tonight when the green flag drops. They have 3 wins, as well as Richard Childress Racing. They have 3 wins, and Horst Eisenhower with 2, defunct team.
Wait,
Horst
who?
Eisenhower, team owner. Most make wins, Ford with 12 over Chevy. Chevy has 11. Pontiac with 9. Toyota 4 wins for Toyota. 3 wins for Oldsmobile, 2 for Dodge, and 1 for Buick, obviously. Just Ford, Chevy, and Toyota. But there's only 2 Fords out there. One of them stole the show last week. Who is going to steal the show tonight?
Horace.
You know what?
We
I'm
all
gonna
know
go
the
ahead
answer is
and
Kyle
say it.
Busch.
Was that the person who's going to steal the show tonight, man? If we can take the biggest L out of this weekend by finishing 2nd and then finishing 40th, I think we can make a bounce back.
We're talking
I'll
about
take
the
48.
Xfinity race tonight.
Yeah.
Xfinity.
Wrong series.
Wrong series. Sir.
Oh, sorry. Oh, Noah Gregson.
Gregson.
That's a bit of a bold one.
Oh, I don't even know which is.
Wait, what did you say, Hunter? You said
I said that's a bit of a bold pick.
Yeah,
I mean, he impressed us last week. Just saying.
yeah, he really did.
Yeah,
It kind
Yeah.
of gave me throwbacks of when he was in the Truck Series. He dominated the first stage, won the stage, and then couldn't come back.
To win.
yeah.
I think tonight,
I'm just looking.
although Kyle Busch might be the easy pick, I have a feeling we're
he's-
going to see this guy go to victory lane, and his name is Justin Allgaier.
Okay. My goodness. This is so hard to pick a driver.
I'll let someone else make a prediction then.
I'm gonna have to go with. All right, scared. I'm gonna go with Brandon Jones.
He's starting second. He's fast on the mile and a half. He's starting P2, which is really good.
Does anyone even trust him anymore?
Well,
I
that's
mean, he beat Kyle Busch at Phoenix.
yeah, and he should have freaking won Auto Club, but no, Daniel Hemrick just wanted to sabotage his
Only way
race.
Daniel Hemrick, though. Wait, he's in this race.
He's 12, starting 12.
They
Oh,
drew
God.
a poll if you haven't
Okay.
by now. All right, waiting on the rest of you guys.
Long shot for another win.
I don't know. I can see a rookie maybe getting his first win tonight.
Oh wait.
And what would that be?
I don't know. I think a rookie gets it.
I assume that would be Harrison Burton or Riley Herbst.
Do you mean like a rookie without a win?
I think Riley Herbst or Lazard gets it. Yeah.
All right, Riley Herbst for you. I think we got everyone.
Rookies
Okay.
have won here before.
My pick is dark horse. Really, nobody expects this guy to win. This driver, he drives in a car. He only has one career win in this car, which he's been in this series for a lot of years, including he ran some cup races too in his career. Car number 1, Michael Annett wins at Charlotte.
That is bold right
Yeah,
that is
was
bold.
bold.
Austin Cindric for me.
I love how
That's pretty cool too.
I love how he
Oh,
started out
shut
with
up.
this driver drives a car. I would hope he drives a car.
Hopefully.
All right, now there's another Xfinity race that
Rookie one on foot.
here's the next Xfinity race. So that was round 6. Round 6 will be tonight on FS1, Eastern,
Yep.
and round 7 will be on Saturday for the Bristol 300. Obviously, they had 2 races last year, so Christopher Bell, Tyler Reddick won those events respectively. First race was in 1982, won by Phil Parsons in the inaugural season of
Familiar.
what is now the Xfinity Series. Most victories total at this track, Kyle Busch with 9. And second on the list with 5 victories, Kevin Harvick. And then Morgan Shepherd with 4. Matt Kenseth has 3. Then Brett Bodine, Tom Bodine, Steve Grissom, Eric Jones, Joey Logano, Mark Martin, Larry Pearson, Elliott Sadler, Jimmy Spencer, Michael Waltrip have 2 wins, respectively, at Bristol in the series. Now, as for the spring race, the team with the most wins is Joe Gibbs Racing with 7 over RCR with 5. Roush has 3 wins there. Then Whitaker Racing, Morgan Shepherd, Dale and Hart Incorporated, Labonte Motorsports, Diamond Ridge, and Team Penske have 2 victories there. As for the most wins by manufacturer at the spring race in Bristol, Chevy owns that with 16, Toyota with 7, Oldsmobile and Ford with 4 victories, Buick with 3, Pontiac with 2, and Dodge with 1. So there's your stats on Saturday's race.
Okay.
Who's going to win that one?
Okay, my pick, this driver, he's been driving 4 different teams in these different series. He currently is in a good car. He's never won an Xfinity championship. He won here in 2010, driving the number 12. Justin Allgaier is going to win at
12?
Bristol. He drove the 12 car when he
Penske.
first won.
It
Yeah,
was
he
his-
drove
I
the
thought he's currently.
No,
That's
he's-
that word.
He's
No,
in the 7 car now for Jimmy
Yeah.
Martin. But I think Justin Allgaier is a great pick.
Yeah.
I'm going to agree with you on that one because Justin Allgaier almost won that race last year before the tire went down with a handful of laps to go, giving the win to Tyler Reddick. But he's really, really strong on the short track.
Yep.
I think that's going to help him propel. I have him as a champion. You know, there's a lot of doors open for different drivers to excel in 2020 for the Xfinity Series, because now you remove drivers like John Henry Nemechek, Cole Custer, Christopher Bell,
Tyler Reddick.
They're out of the picture now. Doors wide open here.
Yeah. Yup.
All right. How about the rest of you? What do you guys have?
Well, is there even a list for Bristol?
No,
Not yet.
there's not. But I'm just. I know. I checked. Junior Motors, like the Junior Motorsports has a net. The 8 car is going to be Hemrick at Bristol again. Yeah. So I don't know.
But from what we do know, let's hear your predictions for the rest of you.
I'm taking a big, wild stab at basically one of the most beloved drivers I have ever seen since he started in the Truck Series, Ryan Sieg.
I like that.
It's solid.
Yeah.
Well, if Kyle Busch is in the race, then it's going to be Kyle Busch. But if he's not in the race somehow, then I'm going to have to go with Ross Chastain.
I'm off to go with Chastain as well, man.
The Watermelon Man.
Yep.
Yes, Watermelon Man from Alva, Florida.
Chastain.
All right, so there's that. We got Xfinity out of the way. Now,
Chastain.
talk about the Truck Series. For the first time, they are racing since February. This is their 3rd race of the year. The Charlotte 200 will be tomorrow night. And last year, Kyle Busch took the win. The first race was in 2003. Ted Musgrave won that race. Most victories, Kyle Busch with 8 over Ron Hornaday and Matt Crafton, who have 2. Matt Crafton scored his first win after years of trying in 2008. And most team wins, Kyle Busch Motorsports with 6 over Billy Blue Motorsports, who has 2 wins there. By the way, do the math. All 8 of them were from Kyle Busch himself.
Oh, gosh.
Kevin Harvick Incorporated with 2 wins. And ThorSport has 2 wins. And obviously, Matt Crafton got those 2 wins with ThorSport. Chevy, though, has the list of 9 victories, most for any make. Toyota with 7, and Dodge has 1. And I bet you, do you do the math? Who actually, no. Kyle Busch does not have all the wins for Toyota.
No, there's
Matt Crafton had the 2016 win.
Yeah, I remember that race that was supposed to be Friday night. It was Saturday after the All-Star Open, which that open race was interesting. But and by the way, if people don't know, Ben Rhodes drew for the pole in the 99 over Tyler Ankrum. They're the front row for tomorrow. I don't even know who I want to win. This is hard.
It's a very competitive 2020 series.
I'm sorry. I just saw the lineup, and I'm so baffled by, let's see. 12th is Angela Ruck. 13th is Natalie Decker. 14th is Jesse Wuji. Then, you got Kyle Busch starting 16th.
Talk about a mixture of experience, inexperience, competitiveness, and just veterans out there. Veterans like Matt Crafton, Kyle Busch, Johnny Sauter. Amateurs out there like
Natalie Decker,
Ty Majeski, Austin Hill. I don't know about Ty Majeski because he's probably seen the track thousands of times on iRacing, but Tanner Gray, more like Tanner Gray. And just series veterans like Ben Rhodes and Austin Hill. I think Grant Enfield could throw him in the list there. Now, Stuart Friesen. No wonder why they extended the amount of trucks into the playoffs from 8 to 10 in 2020.
Yeah,
that's cool. For the grid, it's now 40 trucks.
Yeah, but somebody wanted all 47 that entered to race. I'm like, there's not enough.
They did a lottery.
There's not enough pit stalls for that, bro.
Even though probably most of them will be a starting park, calling it.
Yeah, people said Norm Benning should be allowed to run any race he wants. I'm like,
you need a provision for that.
Yeah, and some person said he wanted Norm Benning should be allowed to race any race he wants.
Okay, that's social media for you. But here are the drivers that the list that were on the outside of the lottery that didn't make the grid: Norm Benning, Parker Kligerman, Trey Hutchins, Tim Vaines, Eric Jones, Brian Barnhill, and Dawson Cram. So 40 total. For the first time, since, like, who knows when, we've had over 36 trucks, which used to be the number until 2015. It's now 32 ever since. And due to the new rules, they want to make it fair, so they have it up 40 trucks. It's so competitive. Who's going to win this race on Tuesday night? I think this is really the all-star race.
I think Grant Enfinger has definitely got this one, man. It may be a long shot, but it's my gut feelings that's telling me something, man. He's got something. Grant Enfinger's got this.
Oh my goodness. My pick is the boldest pick ever. You're going to be in shock of this pick. This driver, he's been around the sport for a while. He's not been in the best equipment before. He's been racing in different cars, different series, different manufacturers. He's run cup races this season. He's running his first Xfinity race in a while. His last start in the Truck Series was 2019, and he made his first start in 2015, driving for Mittler Brothers at Atlanta in the number 63. Garrett Smithley in the number 40.
Wow.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah.
In this race?
Yeah, he's driving the 40. He's driving for Nice Motorsports. The first time he's in actual good equipment, every time he's driving for like the back markers. Here's
the question: are they going to run the full race? I mean, they brought extra.
Really?
No, they are not Starm Parking. They said they have sponsorship on all 4 trucks.
All
They're
right.
not Starm Parking.
And I'll trust you then. For me, I'm going to pick the driver that almost everyone picked when it came to the Xfinity Series event at Bristol. His name is Ross Chastain. Yeah, he started 27th, but I feel like someone's going to stop Kyle Busch from getting his 9th win at this track in the Truck Series, and it's going to be Ross Chastain.
I'm going to have to go with Christian Eckes on this one.
Christian Eckes, all right.
Ben Rhodes.
Ben Rhodes.
That's
he's-
also.
I'm going to have to go with Ben Rhodes.
Yeah, Ben Rhodes is the pole sitter in the 99 truck.
Yeah.
I think we got everyone, did we?
No, I was going to say right now, because his first name is mine, Austin Hill.
I like that. I've always been a fan
By
of
the way, very,
Austin.
very quickly. Last time there was 40
Thanks.
trucks running, or 40 trucks to start the green flag. 1998 Samstown 250 at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, which was also their season finale at that time.
Wow. Interesting stats.
Wow.
Okay, so I think we have everything covered as for race previews, but let's talk about the headlines. We have a lot of things going on in the motorsports world, and
Yeah, it's almost 5 o'clock. Unbelievable.
yeah, it's almost 5 o'clock, but it's always 5 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah.
So Road America has been on the news lately about IndyCar racing and racing with fans, trying to be one of the first tracks to race with fans in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. Obviously, we know that the Toronto Grand Prix is off for 2020. The street circuit in Toronto, of course, that's going to be more tough to put together, especially with the current situation. But
The race is on at 5, isn't it?
Double headers also.
oh yeah,
Road
double header
America has a double header
in July.
in July. Where the July 11th and 12th, Saturday and Sunday, where the Toronto race would be. That's where they moved it. So that's gonna not be race 2 anymore. That's race 3 and 4 after the Indy Grand Prix at Indianapolis.
I like that track.
So there's that. Speaking of racetracks reopening, Pocono, who, of course, last week they were rumored to be on the bad side of tracks that have races not confirmed yet. There was a report saying that Pocono is approved to hold a race, but without fans. Obviously, they were scheduled to host a doubleheader going into 2020 late June.
Yep.
There's no word on
More,
the status of that event, but
Actually, I live in the state. I do have further clarification. So basically, in the state of Pennsylvania, counties that are in a red state, or red state of mind, basically, they have the most restrictions for like stores, going out, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And Tom Wolf said if the county that it's in Monroe County, Pocono Raceway is in Monroe County. He said if that county goes into the yellow state, then it has the green light to host NASCAR races without fans.
Okay.
And if it hasn't happened already, then in a couple of days, that county's about to be pushed into the yellow state. So my assumption is that the next wave of schedule announcements from NASCAR, the first race from those would be Pocono, and everything should stay according to plan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for the heads
We
up.
have to
Thanks for the
host 4 series.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I forgot they have ARC.
Twice.
Yeah, because they were gonna have ARC on Thursday, which that would have been on Mav TV, which I don't know why Pocono's on Mav TV. I don't. Probably golf on Fox Sports 1. We have the Saturday. We'll have the truck race, plus then the first Cup race, and then Xfinity on Xfinity on Sunday, and then after that the second Cup race. Like that's what the original schedule would have been.
All right, so let's move on down to tracks that are still not in the good yet when it comes to holding race, and that is Silverstone. Of course, it's obvious that Formula One has taken the biggest hit when it comes to the pandemic for obvious reasons. They're global. And Silverstone, due to government issues, allegedly, cannot host the British Grand Prix, which is supposed to be in July.
Yeah, 2 weeks after Austria.
Last week we learned that race, if it runs, it will be ran without fans. But we also know that the Austrian Grand Prix in the Red Bull Ring is
July 5th.
pushing to make this race happen.
Yeah, July 5th. July 5th is the Austrian
opening race.
Yeah, and also, by the way, I heard that Formula 2 and Formula 3 that were supposed to race there will also race the same weekend.
It all depends on restrictions. Will everyone win in the end? Will everyone have the same benefits?
Well, it's like
Probably not.
But people don't like Formula 2, but for some reason the races are more interesting, which is kind of sad.
Yeah, and especially with those young up-and-coming drivers to have an opportunity.
Well, they don't have any more. They don't have drivers that don't know how to drive.
Let's change the subject there.
Okay.
But if you guys aren't aware, Hockenheim, which hosted the German Grand Prix, there's no German Grand Prix this year or on the scheduled
one was
for 2020.
Yeah.
They held a race last year, but they're open. They're displaying interest in hosting an F1 race behind closed doors. Obviously, I think there's a great opportunity in Hockenheim to make this work, but everything has to go accordingly here.
Yeah.
Let's see. Toronto rumored off the IndyCar calendar. Yeah, it's confirmed now. Toronto off. Road America in with 2 races. Richmond is also off the IndyCar schedule for 2020. They were supposed to make their first return since 2009.
Yep.
Let's see. Oh, here also Denny Hamlin. Yeah, Hamlin, of course, with the crew chief situation, but here we are. Toyota Gazoo Racing, of course, they're a factory team in endurance racing. They obviously hold a successful LMP1 program that's won Le Mans twice.
Yeah.
And they also hold a GT4 program, and where am I going? That they run in the 24 hours of Nürburgring.
Yeah.
They will not bring their Lexus factory program to the Nürburgring 24 Hours this year. Obviously, it was supposed to happen over Memorial Day weekend, but
Yeah.
that race got postponed to September, a week after the rescheduled date for Le Mans. Obviously, we know the 24 Hours of Le Mans has seen teams withdraw already. Well-known teams like Porsche won't bring their American half. Corvette will pull out. And,
I've seen all these things.
And who's next? So there we go for endurance racing. Also the Suzuka 10 Hours will be off for 2020, which is quite a shame because I really got hooked.
Yeah.
And that's one of my favorite endurance races of the year.
Yeah.
Well, there's still esports going on, including R Factor, which is the race All-Star series. They had their own versions of the Indy 500 and Indy Grand Prix, but they brought in legends. They brought in drivers like Scott Pruitt, Juan Pablo Montoya, Emerson Fittipaldi, and the one and only Mario Andretti, champion of the 1969 running of the Indy 500, 1978 Formula One World Champion, and 1967 Daytona 500 champion. I mean, he's got. I think I'm missing a few just by him. He's got too many I can name.
The accolades are beyond the great.
Yeah, and also Jenson Button and Fernando Alonso were in there, and Fernando Alonso swept both the oval races, including a tight battle over Jenson Button in the first race. So yeah, if you haven't already, go check out esports. I mean, I think I personally started to get into esports much greater than I think it ever was before this pandemic. Speaking of esports, George Russell for Williams won the Monaco Virtual Grand Prix for F1 esports. They had a week off last week, and then they came back. George Russell scores the win again over I think it was Charles Leclerc. I finished second. Yeah, Charles Leclerc.
No, he actually messed up. You said. I remember.
Oh yeah, he messed up. My bad.
Yeah. We're on the Skype call, and you said he screwed up in the bridge section. He hit the wall there.
Yep. So there's that. Ty Majeski won the Rattler 250, a light model short track race in Alabama.
Yep, Ty Majeski.
And in I-55 Speedway with World Outlaws, winner Kyle Larson. So he's already back and running in the dirt tracks for World of Outlaws.
Yep.
I think we got a lot of dirt track racing going on again. Yeah. Short track racing, including you, Devin. You had a race on Saturday. Tell us about it.
We started the morning off thinking we weren't going to race because it had been raining all night and all morning. We had to have two separate track drying sessions because right in the middle of the first one, it started downpouring, so we all had to pull off. And then I was going down the highway on my way to the track, and it started downpouring, and then my seat was just soaked. My cover was wet. I had water pooling in the racing seat. It just was not very pretty.
But yeah, I'm glad you're back out there and racing.
Yeah.
What's it like driving in sprint races versus enduros? Devin, I think
so.
Racing
in like a normal series, it's a whole lot different because all the cars are set up around roughly the same. A little bit of difference here and there. You know, everybody's trying to just make, like, our races, we run 15 laps apiece. So it's nothing really too big. And then endurance racing, that's 200 laps to 15 laps. So you're in the car for, like, way longer than what you're used to, and your body starts to get a little more sore. But there isn't as much G-force in the endurance racing than there is in the normal, like, division style racing, because in the division style, your car is set up for more speed and more power.
Yeah, and you came home 7th in that main event. So yeah, good going. Just keep it up.
Yes, I did.
All right, so I
Yeah.
think we've
We're
got
not
everything.
sure when we'll be racing again next.
Oh yeah. Sorry for cutting you off there. And Hunter, how's your channel going?
It's going strong. I'm getting so closer to 10,000 subscribers. Numbers have been good as of late. Let me check them out right now. Yeah, 9,764. The views on my latest videos are going pretty well. I actually made it on the, if you don't recall, the 100K cam special for the first race back from Darlington. They they included my clip of Ricky Stenhouse wrecking, and they put my part in where I'm mocking him, and I'm just like,
Oh my
I'm like, Ricky Stenhouse, buddy, welcome back. I'm just clapping and laughing.
Oh my goodness.
And I couldn't believe that they used it. At first, someone put in the comments section, "Hey, you made it in this video, blah blah blah," and apparently they had it linked to Facebook. I'm like, I don't use Facebook, so what is this? And I clicked on it, and it's got 100K. It's basically like a preview for the 100K cams thing, and they pointed out what part of the video I was in. And I saw that, and at first they showed Stenhouse spinning the wall, and the reflection in the background made it seem like they recorded. They took the part from my video. I'm like, did they just take the video? And then you can see in the next clip, like it shows a more condensed version of it, and on the top right corner, you can see my name and another person that I was in the party with, because I have that on just so people in the comments can tell who's talking and who's who. So that was on, and then they had the voice up, and I go, oh my gosh, that's so cool. But it's not the first time I've been on TV. I go back. Did any of you watch baseball?
No.
I think I remember this. I remember
what
this.
you're talking about.
I saw it. I
It was,
remember that.
Yeah, it was Cole Hamels' last game as a Philly. I'm a Phillies fan, by the way. I live near Philadelphia, so Phillies and Sixers are my teams. It was his last game as a Philly. I got back home just in time to see the game, because I was working, and I heard that he had a no-hitter going on. Or no, yeah, it was a no-hitter. It wasn't a perfect game. It was a no-hitter. And I decided to record my reaction for the last half inning, basically the end of the game. And I put that up, and my uncle was watching the NBC Sports Philadelphia post-game coverage or Phillies coverage, whatever. And he was watching it, and they showed a little segment of reactions from Phillies fans. And he noticed that my clip made it. He said, I saw you on TV. I go, no way, send it to me. So he sent me a video of it, and apparently I made it, and I had no clue, and I was just so ecstatic because that was literally my first time on TV. And apparently, from other members of my family, I made it on several different channels, although I didn't get videos of it. So the first channel I made it on was NBC Sports Philadelphia. Then it was local CBS, local NBC, and then the Telemundo channel.
Okay.
Telemundo. So that was my first time on TV. And I honestly didn't know that I was going to be in the 100K cams thing, because I did it the first time when they did it back in 2015, the Geico 500 when Junior won. I was kind of disappointed that I didn't make it then, and kind of surprised that I made it now. I hope they do it again, though, because it was really.
Yeah, they should. I liked it, and I've been on TV before personally. If you know me, you've seen my short clip on Fox Sports Florida during the Florida Panthers intermission between the Panthers and the Sabres in late 2016. I was youth hockey player.
Oh yeah, I saw that clip.
Back when I was 18 years old, and I think that's great. I almost got on NASCAR America post race show on Sunday was
Oh yeah,
I
remember
they
that.
answered my call, but it wasn't in the TV slot when they went live. I was asking about Eric Jones and the future of Joe Gibbs Racing, and I thought that really cool. Even though I wasn't one of the callers who made it on TV, it was cool to see them answer my question.
Yeah, like for me, I've never been on TV at all.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but that actually reminds me. I was on TV again, but this time it was like a Twitter question. NBC Sports, they had their victory lap segment. I guess this was after the New Hampshire race. They were taking questions, and they took my question, and at the time my Twitter username was Larson Lover 445, and Parker Kligerman comes up and at Larson Lover 445, and who was it? I'm trying to find the video of it.
I remember.
But whoever she was, I think it was Danielle Trotta.
Yeah,
She looked at the camera and was like trying to hold her laughing. I'm like, this is so neat. This is so funny. And I mean, it was a legit question. I go, the last 4 races we've seen a different winner. Will we see a 5th different winner at Pocono? And I remember AJ Allmendinger picked Ryan Blaney, and he ended up finishing like 26th. But that was another time I was on TV, just with my Twitter.
Huh.
Denny Hamlin would win that race.
Denny Hamlin would win that race, and that would be actually my first Cup race or NASCAR race.
I remember you sent me Snapchats like from the track that it was pretty cool.
It was a surreal experience just because it was my first Cup race there, Cup race in general, and we got there so early. It was like 12. It was literally like maybe quarter till 12 or 12 o'clock, and we were just like, oh, we're so bored. What do we do? I mean, we got good parking because we parked towards like the exit, or like the access road towards the exit, and we showed up way too early though, and we literally sat in our seats from 1 o'clock until the race was over, just because we were that bored. We got there like 10, maybe quarter after 10.
Wow.
But yeah, it was really good, and I mean, our seats were great too. When they had the cars lined up, I sat right in front of Larson's car where it was stalled. That's when I was a Larson fan, and we were right in front of the other ISM vision board. So whenever they'd fan off into turn 1 when we couldn't see, we would just go and watch the fan board, the ISM vision board, and it was a decent view. I could see the cars just about coming out of turn 3 down the front stretch all the way to turn 1, and then as they get to the tunnel turn, that's when you start to lose vision of everything from that second straightaway on. But it was still such a great experience. And the thing with Pocono that sometimes people say were like, oh, there's like so little fans. I mean, I said it too. Like, there's so little fans there. There's more people at the track than you see on TV. Obviously, whenever they'd show aerial shots, they would you would just see the checker flag pattern of the seats. And I mean, from where I was sitting, there was a lot of people around, and I'm just thinking, wow, the helicopter angle can tell a different picture. But in my opinion, it felt like there were a lot of people there.
Sorry to cut you off there, Hunter, but we do have breaking news from Bob Pockris on Twitter that Hendrick Motorsports has withheld their appeal. They're not going to appeal the 48 cars disqualification after the infraction post-race through the Coca-Cola 600. So Jimmy Johnson has officially finished 40th. So yeah, that just came out.
This probably felt like it was a time waster.
That's bittersweet.
Yeah, it's bitter. It's very bitter, but at least we're gonna have another crack at it tonight, right?
Tonight, Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Oh, Wednesday. Sorry, yes.
Yeah.
Like, so.
Are you on weed right now?
Austin.
Let's go on here.
Like, I was about to say that when I went to New Hampshire in 2015, that's so far the only Cup race I've been to, and that race there was many people for some reason. That race was I was literally in the middle of 3 and 4. and I saw Paul Menard spin the pit road that brought a caution out. Don't know why. There was Alex Bowman when he caught on fire, and that fireman that fell out of the truck with the fire extinguisher is still funny. I don't know why. Bowman was so mad at he was not too happy because they
What race
took
was that?
2015 New Hampshire in the summer
July.
race. Yeah, the fireman fell out and the thing opened up and it's the fire extinguisher started to spray the
Made
stuff
another
and
not top 10 on Sports Center. I do remember.
yeah, like Alex
God.
Bowman's like, what are you doing? Like his car was burning pretty badly. Yeah.
By the way, also, if you haven't heard, the 24 hours of Spa, they made an announcement that their race will run on their scheduled date. I think it's in August.
I don't know.
Without fans, like
I don't
they're
know.
sticking to it. They made it a confirmation. I forgot to mention that. All right, I think we have everything.
Wait. I wanted to say that if people don't know that they updated the IndyCar schedule, which the first 4 races will be on NBC. NBC Sports announced the first 4 races, which is Texas, Indy, and both Road America races will air on NBC, and then NBC will air some other races, plus NBCSN will air other races also, which that was announced by NBC Sports. So yeah, Texas prime time on Saturday, June 6th, which that's pretty awesome.
Exactly. Good decision right there.
That's gonna be great. All right, I think we have everything covered now. We'll be back next week on our usual time. Obviously, check our Twitter, our social media for any breaking news, of course.
Yep.
Thank you guys for watching and for coming on watching this at 4:00. We don't the earliest we've ever done a podcast in our 60 episode history. So from our guests, thank you, Hunter and Devin, for coming back to the podcast to join us. And my partners, Austin LaPlante, Daniel Ford, Justin Heber. I'm Joe Lenny
Always
Powell.
a pleasure.
Signing off. Devin, you had something in mind? Were you saying something, Devin?
Okay.
I'm working on not having an awkward ending. But
hopefully this podcast will end.
Okay, so I was thinking.
Delay like in television.
Yeah. Okay. So for everybody joining on here, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys next week.